What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling, man. And I've been contemplating on, other things to call Ben outside of just the Asian sensation. So
I feel like at this point it's coined now, so just keep it with Asian sensation, bro.
We got Santa's Asian little elf right here, right next to me.
Oh, hello, everybody. What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show. Dan, I appreciate the effort. A+ right there for you guys. We got a great show today. By the way, happy holidays, everybody out there. Hope you guys are safe, warm. Everything's going right for y'all. I know that it is weird. Yeah, it is very weird that we do not have a white Christmas. But at the same time, I'm not complaining because the roads are clear, and so is my mind. But before we get into everything, Don, what's up?
I'm back. Last week I was out with COVID.
The big C.
And after the live stream that I did on both Danny H Vlogs and the We Are Wrestling channel for AEW's Winter is Coming, I felt like complete shit. And then I was in bed probably until Sunday, and I kind of jinxed myself because I thought I was going to get through it, but it wasn't as bad as the first time. But now, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real. And by the way, Danny, that is not a worthless introduction.
No worthless introduction. I love it.
I didn't say it was worthless. I said it was long.
Useless.
For no apparent reason.
Listen, I love how long that fucking intro is. Have you heard? You've heard Pat Kelly's intro? That shit's like 20 fucking minutes. So no, I don't want to hear it's too long. I don't want to hear it's too long.
I do want to sit here and bring up the fact that Donnie said that he started feeling bad after the Winter is Coming stream, and I mean, if you're gonna get sick after any show, it's definitely Winter is Coming.
Yeah, it's true. The cold season be fucking flying everywhere, man. Again, stay safe out there. The Rona is back full force, and
it's
obviously
still a
with
thing,
it being
man.
With it being
Definitely
fucking cold,
stay
so
safe
stay
out
safe.
there. And you never know where you get it from.
Mm-hmm.
I got it from my dad. My dad doesn't even know who we got it from. But We Are Wrestling, we do want to wish all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there happy holidays.
Merry
and
Christmas.
we hope you guys enjoy
Happy
this
New Year.
Christmas Eve episode of the talk show.
Yeah,
so, let's get into our first topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling talk show. We are going to be talking about an individual that we finally can put to rest.
God.
Alberto Del Rio.
You would use his fucking mugshot, you piece of shit.
That is not me, okay? That is We Are Wrestling production, all right? We do have a production team. Alberto Del Rio, there are reports that Del Rio, WWE wants nothing to do with him. And I'm going to I want to just get my thoughts out because I can't stand this guy, and I'm just going to say this. I have been saying this the entire time, that Alberto Del Rio is not going to come back to WWE, and I'm glad he's not going to be coming back to WWE because this man, he could have been the future of this business, but instead he made some stupid decisions outside of the ring that pretty much cost him his wrestling career. That's what I'm going to leave it at.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Before I get into my thoughts, Don, you said it before, but it probably, I feel like it's very relevant for, this specific topic. Tell us about your experience the time you met Mr. Alberto Del Dipshit.
Alberto Del Dipshit. I like that. When I got the opportunity to meet Alberto at a big-time wrestling show back in 2017, and this was around the time where he was actually dating Paige. And Paige, had some issues with WWE because, of course, Del Rio, he was very toxic. And they were in a very toxic relationship. And Paige was there, and a lot of fans were interacting with Paige. They wanted to say hi to her because, of course, they seen her on TV. She's, was the former Divas champion. One of, the top women in the PG era. And Alberto Del Rio just kept being a dickhead to everybody. And I go there, to meet Alberto Del Rio. I say hi to Paige because I'm just, being a gentleman. And then he's just being a dickhead. Just, getting the picture done and over with. Signed my 8x10. It was like a picture of him with like a black background. And he signed it with a black Sharpie. when he had all
What?
different colors on his table. He had all the colors of the rainbow on his table that he could have signed in Sharpie, but instead he went with the black Sharpie. And then pretty much, I tried talking to him. Nope. Just
Nothing.
Just being a dickhead.
Wow. Yeah, man. He does not seem like a nice and approachable gent whatsoever.
No, absolutely not.
Donnie
a lot of wrestling fans have had really bad media experience with him. It's not just me.
No, I believe it.
And Donnie was trying to say hi to Paige, and he was being rude about that, saying, why are you talking to her, and this and that, and pretty much being, a narcissistic, controlling asshole, apparently.
That was like red flags everywhere, man. Like, like if there's any kind of, like ownership there, which should never be a thing in any kind of relationship, because it should just never be a fucking thing.
Well, that's how you know it's so toxic when Del Rio is still going on interviews threatening if Paige says anything that he's gonna expose her.
Yeah, like
even though she's moved on. She's moved on from him. She's still having a successful run while Del Rio's fighting on independent shows, not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wait,
Del Rio's a fucking douchebag.
So for those of you, he probably gets paid, but not obviously.
No, at one of these independent shows, he actually did not get paid.
Oh, he didn't?
Really?
Nope, they actually screwed him, I think Ultimo Dragon, and a couple other people, which I don't condone that at all. Like, if you're a wrestling promoter,
but if anybody
you're bringing
deserves
in
that karma,
legends
it's him.
and superstars,
you
should be paying them. But Del Rio, I'm sorry, he's a dickhead. He deserved it.
For those of you,
I used to like him a lot in WWE with his first run too.
Bro, I was in Boston at the Royal Rumble 2011 when he fucking won the Rumble, man.
I can't believe he won the fucking
Sorry
Rumble or won a world
that.
championship in general.
My one Rumble experience in person, I had to fucking deal with that asshole.
I couldn't stand his fucking theme song either. I'm sorry, I just couldn't.
I did. I kind of liked it. I liked it. I liked Ricardo Rodriguez. I will admit
Ricardo.
that. I did like Ricardo a lot.
But anyway, for those of you that
One of the
don't
best
know,
mouthpieces.
I mean, we should pretty much get caught up to speed as to why this whole thing is transpiring.
Yeah.
It came out a couple of years ago that obviously after Del Rio got released from WWE, he went on social media, he went on this rant and interviews and stuff. He threatened WWE, he threatened Triple H, he threatened Stephanie, he threatened Vince, and I think he threatened a couple other people like higher ups within the company. Explains why they're not going to give him a fucking job.
No.
But he also got charged for armed kidnapping. He kidnapped and abused his ex-girlfriend, and I believe her kid, her son or something. I read about that.
I do remember
Wasn't
that.
he not guilty though for that after they went to court and stuff?
But the way he acts towards people and just his overall demeanor, it makes me think that even if he was found not guilty, I mean, something obviously happened.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there in a lot of cases, especially his, which again, I feel like I get the vibe that he's notorious for having like severe like anger management issues. So I just any kind of story like that, I'm almost
he slapped
morally
the WWE
inclined.
producer backstage, and he got
so I'm like
suspended
morally inclined to believe some of those.
Hello, Ben?
This man froze. Mid.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, he's back now.
It was just me. All three of us were.
You.
All three of us were circling for a second there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on my screen, no, three of us were circling. But yeah, it's a very rough situation that he put himself in. So you can't really, expect WWE to want him back, and by any means, like not even a one-off, man. Like that's people's safety at that point. And like you said, with all the threats that he was throwing around, and physically putting his hands on the backstage producer, that's it, man. Like at that point, it's not even about you being a part of anything. Like that's again people's safety and well-being. Nobody should feel unsafe at work.
That's a major liability too, because let's say they do give him a chance or whatever,
and his history. They don't want to be attached to it.
Let's say they do give him a chance, right? They hire him back or whatever. A light switch gets switched off, man. He just fucking goes crazy out of nowhere, hurts somebody. I mean, that can, and WWE up in a fucking major lawsuit with somebody.
Yeah.
Look,
It could be
they already
severe.
gave Del Rio a second chance. He left WWE in his first run, then he came back in his second run a couple years after he left, and he blew that again. He also went to Impact at one point, and he also blew that as well. So I don't feel bad whatsoever for Del Rio.
Wasn't his name like Alberto Patron or something like that?
Alberto El Patron.
El Patron, yeah.
I mean, the dude had everything, bro. He was WWE champion like the first year of his, first WWE run. He wrestled Edge, and Edge is not known at the time, but shortly after his very last WrestleMania match, even though Edge won, still, I mean, he was in a really good spot. The dude just squandered every opportunity that he has, and I don't feel bad for him.
And I'm glad that this could finally be the last time we ever talk about this guy.
Let's hope Tony Khan doesn't have a heart and fucking, try and give the guy a chance.
Tony Khan will not.
No, I think at that point, if he notices nobody's interested, I don't think he's going to be the one off, because that's going to be bad publicity on top of a lot of sour shit they're trying to build away from at this point. They're trying to get away from the drama. Adding Patron will just add another whole whirlwind of drama in their midst, and they don't want it. They don't.
And Del Rio already talked crap about AEW, so Tony Khan won't hire him.
I just wish.
He's burnt every bridge.
Literally every bridge.
I wish these people.
He went from riding those Lamborghinis to freaking Matchbox cars.
Civic.
But I wish these actors and celebrities and pro wrestlers, I wish they honestly knew how lucky they were to be in the position they are. You know what I mean?
Got his ass kicked against Tito Ortiz in the octagon.
Like James Cameron. This is definitely not a pro wrestling topic.
No, but his ego was fucking. He flipped off his fans.
He was at a screening for one of his movies. It's not like he was out with his kids or out with his wife at dinner. He was at a screening for his movie, and his people wanted his autograph, and he flipped them off. Like, when you're in a position like that, you can't be doing shit like that. I don't give a fuck who you are.
It shows that you're very ungrateful for what you have, and that's another reason, very much so on the topic. I blasted Sasha Banks. I did in the last talk show. I blasted her, and this is one of the reasons they are very ungrateful for the position that they're in.
The Sasha Banks situation is very different, though, because I've never heard of her being like mean.
I get it.
I get it.
But at the same time,
only
very
airports,
ungrateful.
which I understand sometimes.
But still, very ungrateful
with their travel schedule and stuff. But that's a whole other topic for another day.
Yeah, but it's still, But Alberto Del Rio will never step foot in a WWE ring again. Like,
we talked about him
swept under the rug indefinitely.
We talked about him for 14 minutes. I think that's all the cocksucker deserves. So let's move on, shall we?
I agree. So our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show: at a recent independent show, Devon Dudley was supposed to make an appearance at the show in Philadelphia. It was pretty much like an ECW reunion show. I actually was going to go.
Arena.
I was going to go to it, but I didn't want to do the drive, so I ended up not going. So there's reports that WWE pulled Devon out last minute from, this appearance that he was supposed to make. He was supposed to be by Bully Ray's side when he faced Matt Cardona. So, according to these reports, I have it right here on my wonderful iPad, and in the recent interview, well, basically what happened was WWE did pull Devon Dudley from the event, both the live show and the convention. He was scheduled to be in the corner of Bubba Ray in his match with Matt Cardona. He went through John Cena and Talent Relations, who reportedly approved of the booking, and he believed, based on his contract, since he's not a wrestler, that he was able to do things like that. Bruce Pritchard nixed the booking and ended up on the desk of Paul Levesque, which is, Triple H. He also said that he was going to do it because he gave his word on it, and Triple H didn't give the approval, and basically told him if he did it, he would be fired. And he didn't do it. And the real reason behind the stuff is because WWE felt like it was an ECW reunion show, but without calling it ECW. So they did not want Devon to be a part of that. How do you guys feel about that?
It's very weird. Devon, obviously, he was at the Rhode Island Comic Con along with Bubba Ray. When you're a producer you're able to get more free reign, and when you're not a talent. He's signed to WWE, but the talent and the producer contracts are totally different. So he wasn't going to
As
these
long as you're
shows
not competing on
technically as
television, I believe,
talent. Yeah, exactly.
for another promotion.
Part of me does understand why, for one reason. WWE owns the intellectual property that is ECW, I believe. Because they bought their ECW and the WCW rights. I don't know if they've renewed them, but remember back in the Invasion, they had WCW and ECW going up against WWE back in like 2001. So
One
I
Night
kind of
Stand, 2005 and 6.
Yep. Plus the rebrand of ECW back in like 07, 08. Yeah, it wasn't that good. I from a business perspective, I understand why they did it. I think they handled it. They could have handled it in a better situation. Somebody like Devon, somebody that's been loyal to WWE like him. I mean, I don't think he should have been treated that way, personally. I mean, I don't know. Ben, what do you think about this whole situation?
I really want to know.
See, like again, for every reason that you just stated, I understand. It's a contract thing. It's I guess word of belief that it's very similar to how ECW is being built as like kind of like a reunion. So I get it in that aspect. What I don't get is how they're starting to do all these Forbidden Door things, but they're still pulling the very strict Vince card. Like it's like H knows, that this was not an ECW show. Like down in your fucking core. But if you make that decision, you're going to make somebody else in the business unhappy. And I feel like that's the reason why he didn't approve it. And that could look bad on him. I don't know. But it is very strange.
The thing is, so I saw this on social media earlier today. One of these news sites or whatever posted a picture of Matt Cardona, and it said new ECW champion Matt Cardona. So
that was with the newer style ECW belt.
So I mean, it makes me think maybe WWE, like, I feel like even if they didn't call it like an ECW show, because that's the intellectual property of WWE, maybe they didn't want to make it official without being involved or whatever, and they had no interest, and so it was sort of like them doing it on their own. You know what I mean?
It was an independent show with former freaking ECW talent. Whoopee.
Yeah, but they called it like BCW, or they called it something very similar, like very close to
Okay,
ECW.
And there's like 100 other freaking wrestling promotions out there that literally use their wrestling logo and they do the ECW thing. We even did it on her We Are Wrestling shirts.
Yeah, but the thing is, bro, there's a thing called intellectual property, copyrights. You know what I mean?
Fam.
We have those shirts. We're not making money off them. If we made money, if we sold them and made money off of them, we might run into a copyright situation. You know,
independent wrestlers do their independent wrestlers put their friggin' name and logo on that, and they make money.
I don't know. I just know there's copyright laws, and there's like
they can't use ECW
and stuff like that. I don't know.
And they didn't. They follow the rules.
I feel like with a situation like this, we're not gonna know the full reason as to why Devon got pulled. Maybe it was something else.
Unless he comes out about it personally, I don't see really anything being brought to light.
Maybe it got put on Triple H's desk. Maybe it got put on Triple H's desk, and
I'll tell you why.
He didn't.
He's under contract.
He didn't give agreement to it in time.
I'll tell you why.
I don't know.
Devon Dudley's not making this a big deal because he wants both his sons to be in WWE. They are both right now becoming professional wrestlers, and they're actually doing stuff right now in the independent circuit. And it's only a matter of time before they get signed to WWE.
I remember seeing
that's
them.
That's probably why Devon's not trying to,
blow it out of proportion.
He doesn't want to burn that bridge, which I understand.
I remember seeing Devon's kids in Impact years ago, back in probably 2013, 2014.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
My thoughts on the whole Devon situation. Here's my thoughts on it. I understand from the business side of things why WWE wouldn't want Devon there. But if somebody in WWE already approved it, why are you going to let the man back out? Because this is the problem I have with WWE. They do not let their wrestlers off a leash. And it pisses me off as a professional wrestling fan because I feel like WWE should be letting these stars do meet and greet opportunities with the fans. And it's like the only way you can meet them is going to WrestleMania Access and wait fucking 4 hours in like a friggin' Bizarro line at Six Flags. A lot of people don't want to do that.
And you only get like 2 minutes with them.
And I feel like with Devon Dudley, like he should have been at this reunion show, all right? It's not freaking, they're not making freaking crazy money. I would understand now if it was a pay-per-view or on, you know, like a big television screen like, you know, AEW. I would understand if AEW was doing it or like Impact or something, but come on, it's a promotion we never heard of. And you're going to make this a bigger deal than what it is.
Unless they were thinking in the back of their head,
Damn,
like,
man, coming up
you
swinging.
know, like, you're going to have...
Shinsuke can go to New Japan and wrestle, but Devon can't go to some ECW show with a couple hundred people there. Make it make sense.
Different.
My thing on it is you can't have the Dudley boys both at the show without having some kind of physical altercation with somebody. Whether that's doing the 3D, you know, that was huge back in the day.
It don't matter. Devon was mostly there for the convention part because that's where he was going to make most of his money that day.
Yeah, but if he was gonna go to the ring with Bubba Ray, he was gonna end up getting involved. 3D, whatever it was.
Who gives a shit? He's a producer.
If he gets hurt, WWE is going to have to deal with the consequences of that.
Okay, if he's in a wheelchair, he could still wheel around and do his producing job. He's not in the ring.
There's more.
Get him a pair of Heelys.
There's more to it.
Heelys.
There's more to it than that. Devon just had.
Devon, get the Heelys.
They catch him riding dirty.
Devon just had very abrasive back surgery, you know, and
so what makes you think Devon's gonna do a 3D or something if he had back surgery?
That boy gonna land on his back and he gonna be rolling on his Heelys for life.
If I went to a show and I saw the Dudley boys both there, and I didn't see a 3D or I didn't see anything from them both, I would have been extremely fucking pissed. I know that for a fact.
Do
you want this dude to snap his back?
Fan.
Do you want
people would have just been happy to see him?
Do you want to see this man shatter his back like a fucking pretzel? No. So no.
He doesn't have to do any physical things. He just needs to be there, and the crowd is just going to be happy to see him in their presence.
Just him popping up would be enough of a distraction to call that match. 100%. Like that.
Maybe a push.
He has that much.
Maybe he does a little push and then get the tables, and then he just grabs a table for Bubba. It's probably all he was gonna do.
That's all he probably could fucking do.
Kevin Owens
getting
wants
the
to
table
do,
was enough.
Kevin Owens wants to do indie shows, and they're not gonna let him. I don't know.
Rolling.
That's stupid.
I remember back in the day. Bro.
Just let wrestlers meet people. That's all I ask. That's all I want WWE to do.
Yeah, acknowledge that he's a person that owns a pair of Heelys.
Now, if I ever meet Devon again, I am going to have him sign a pair of Heelys.
Just for an inside joke.
I remember back in the day.
And eventually, when we get sponsored by Whatnot, we'll post them on there.
Just roll by the camera with one of these guys out on Heelys.
In honor of We Are Wrestling Talk Show episode 38.
We need to get this needs to be the big next merch item. A We Are Wrestling pair of sponsored Heelys. Well, that's what we need to do for us. We need to get some for us.
We have shirts for us, but we don't sell any.
Hey, we tried to get a shop on Pro Wrestle Tees, and then they told us no, unless we wanted to pay them money.
Nah, fam. Not unless you got that money.
We don't make that much here on YouTube, all right?
Pro Wrestling Tees like, I bet, so where's my money? What? I
just feel like when it comes down to it with Devon, I understand the business side of things, but like if you're gonna approve the man to do this booking, you should have just let it go through. Like, this is a company we never friggin' heard of. Who gives a crap? Guys, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling. Coming soon to We Are Wrestling.
Being like 3 years old, literally, my uncle would be like, oh, body slam, and he'd be elbowing me, and he'd be like, just doing moves on me in the living room.
My cousin Stash, he was a big wrestling fan because of the Attitude Era, and I saw him playing with the Jack Pacific, the WWE toys,
and myself included. We look more forward to these surprise entrants than sometimes the actual Rumble match itself.
If you are in a fast-paced environment like the Rumble, you need to, have that fast pace. Which is why I think, new school has a little bit over the old school.
I'm a huge fan of characters. I think that's a huge thing that's missing in today's wrestling.
Honestly, I would rather take the belt that I'm wearing on my pants. I'd rather be representing that than the fucking the new WWE Championship, okay? We are Wrestling Old School versus New School podcast. New episodes airing every Monday starting January 9th. Alright, we're back with more We Are Wrestling. Our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling talk show, there are reports that AEW in 2023 is going to be having a new setup.
Yeah, January 4th is supposed to debut.
And this will be their second setup because, of course, with AEW Dynamite, they have kept the same, stage and the same look to the show
they have
for
the
the last
dual
couple
entrances,
years.
right?
So now they're going to be upgrading their stage. How do you guys feel about that?
I
I'll let
hope
you go first.
As selfish as it is, I hope they go in a direction more of like, the Raw kind of setup, like back in like 05. You know what I mean? Like the Ruthless
Okay,
Aggression era.
so what you're going for...
The tunnels remind me too much of the old school Impact. I just don't like
Okay,
it.
so what you're saying is you want them to have almost like a gimmick for their shows, kind of like with SmackDown had the fist shattering through the fucking glass and shit. Like, I would love that too, and that's exactly where I was going to go. Like, the
I agree.
100%. Like, I hope that they make it broader. And honestly, I hope they give WWE a run for their money in terms of presentation because, like, WWE's been severely lacking. Like, War Games, yeah, it was great. They had 2 fucking cages in the front, whoop-de-doo, but they used to be better. Like, Armageddon
The entrance
was
stages
phenomenal.
are so horrible nowadays compared
They're
to
corporate as
before.
fuck now, dude. Like, it's like the
I
one thing
heard,
I don't care about, but it was one of the greatest things about being excited for a pay-per-view.
I was watching
So
a live.
excited.
I was watching a live stream the other day with Sap, and somebody had asked him, if WWE was ever planning on upgrading their stage setups or whatever, and he heard from a higher up in WWE that that's an expense that they're not really interested in doing. So they're not interested in upgrading any of their sets or anything like that. They don't want to spend the money.
Ever since the HD era, that's like when like the entrance stages and crap just went like all the way
The
down.
best fucking stage setup that they've had recently was fucking WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania back with the fans.
It's always
WWE
WrestleMania.
WWE
Like-
also needs to realize that when they have shows on like Peacock and stuff, the visuals get compressed. They're not
Mhm.
HD unless they're on actual cable network television. Mondays and Fridays, yeah, but pay-per-views and stuff, the visuals get fucking compressed for the fucking website.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
no,
nuts, man.
absolutely. I feel like when it comes down to it with AEW, I have been a fan of the stage. I really did enjoy the 2
Yeah.
tunnels because you would have the good guys come out of the right one and then you would have the heels come out the left.
That's
I
how
really
it was
did
in
enjoy
TNA
that.
back in 05, though. TNA in 05 was the same.
Yeah, but
exact
except the
fucking
difference
way.
between that was they had one tunnel on one side of the arena and then they had the other on the other side of the arena.
I'm just not into the tunnels, man. I like my favorite stage setup is like, 05, 06, from Monday Night Raw. Like I just the big visuals and you have like, the curtains or whatever. I like that style or whatever.
It
I wonder
was
what
very practical and old
I
school.
wonder what AEW is going to do. I really do hope that they do add some gimmick to the stage because with Dynamite, one thing I do miss, I will say, from watching AEW since day one, I miss how much better like the crowds looked because in the beginning when they first presented Dynamite, the arena was more lighter and now it's more darker, which I don't like. I like it lighter because you could see the crowd going nuts. And AEW, every time they usually go to a show, their crowds are on a whole nother level, and it's crazy to me because they might have a smaller crowd than WWE, but I'm sorry, but AEW crowd, they show up, unlike WWE most of the time.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
the
That's
show
wild,
much
man.
more fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also heard that they're going to be working on the lighting, so it's not going to seem as dark in the arena. I heard
Please.
that they're going to probably be switching out the ring ropes and stuff like that. Now, the thing about this whole entire thing is, I heard that they're gonna have new stage setups for Rampage as well as
Good.
Dynamite.
You
That
need
makes
to.
that makes me think though, because they tape Rampage right after Dynamite. How is that whole thing gonna work? Are they gonna start doing Rampage live?
They've started doing it a little bit in 2022. Not
They did
every
they
week.
did it in
But they
October.
did do it
but
sometimes.
they did it all October for whatever reason, but it's been taped after Dynamite pretty much ever since the end of October. So, but it makes me think like they're not going to be able to switch the entire set in a matter of 5 minutes. You know what
They
I mean?
are they do have a lot of established stars lately on Rampage. So I think they are going to be doing them live, I think, moving forward pretty soon.
I mean, I heard they're going to be switching like the color of the ring ropes, the color of the canvas in the ring.
Yes.
They're just going to be revamping it. So we only have 2 weeks, man. January 4th is the supposed date that it's going to be launching. I can't wait, man.
I can't wait to see the new setup because honestly, anything at this point is better than WWE's setup. But right now, SmackDown is the best show out of all.
The WWE
Right
setup.
now, yeah, because that's the only one that Triple H cares about.
But the presentation is way better with
The
AEW.
WWE setup reminds me of a laptop when it's like open. You know what I mean? You have just a big screen or whatever. Like that's legitimately what
So
it
what the
reminds
fuck
me
A
is
of.
laptop
2008
just chilling
laptop.
Yeah.
Like,
Dell.
or like a tablet with the keyboard. You know what I mean? Like that's what it reminds me of. Just like a big screen, and that's pretty much it. All kinds of fucking LED lights and shit that you don't fucking necessarily need. Like the whole entire stage. Why does the entire stage have to fucking set up? I miss when it was like, remember they had the fucking steel ramp and they had the fucking like the Titantron look fucking like steel.
I miss
worn
the
down
Attitude
and
Era
stuff.
stage, man. That was awesome.
Mm.
That
Every-
was freaking awesome.
I love
But the
LED
SmackDown
lights.
fist is on a whole nother level.
I love
Oh, yeah.
LED lights just like the next guy, but I just feel like WWE overdoes it, man.
And then there's stupid freaking like 4D freaking graphics that they put in there too.
Some of them are
a little
cool, and
too
then some of
much.
them, some of them like the flamingos when fucking Riddle comes into the ring. I could definitely do without, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. We have 2 weeks. We have next week, and then the week after that, man, January 4th. We're gonna have to scope that out and see what they do. We might have to do if we get any confirmation that it's actually a thing. We might have to do for that
An
Dynamite.
extra.
We might have to do a watch along to it.
Maybe, or an extra. Talk about it. But now, let's get into our main event topic for this week's episode of the We Are
Yeah.
Wrestling Talk Show. WWE, and this always happens around the Royal Rumble season.
Oh my God, yes, give it to me.
And we all love fantasy booking.
Oh yeah, baby.
Let's go.
Give it to me.
One of my favorite segments on the talk show.
There are reports that WWE is going to be bringing in a Forbidden Door entrant into this year's Royal Rumble.
God.
How do you guys feel about this?
Here's the thing: how Forbidden Door is this really?
Will not be AEW.
I
I'm
know.
going to
That's-
put that out there.
That's
to
the
begin with.
ultimate Forbidden Door.
I think-
Anything but AEW.
I told
Bro.
this to Donnie before we started recording tonight. I think it's going to be Jay White. He has ties to the Bullet Club. He has ties to AJ and the Good Brothers and Balor. I mean, I could definitely see that being a huge possibility. And as
Yeah.
far as I know,
Matt
his
Cardona.
contract his contract with New Japan, that wouldn't necessarily be a Forbidden
It
Door.
wouldn't
though,
be a
'cause
surprise though, but
it's pretty much guaranteed that he's coming into the company because Chelsea
Yep.
Green is coming into the company.
Ooh, I do got to say,
but he's
I did
coming as
listen.
Matt Cardona too.
But with Matt Cardona, I do got to say, I have listened to the Chris Van Vliet podcast.
I did too the other day.
And Matt Cardona already said, like WWE cannot take away the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, and he wants to still do his other ventures and stuff. So I think the ball is in pretty much Triple H's court. If he can cooperate and let Matt Cardona do like his other projects and stuff, because Matt Cardona has really grown like his brands outside of the ring. If he allows him to do that, I think then Matt Cardona is definitely coming back. But if not, I think it's not the end of the world for Matt Cardona because he's having a successful run.
He's doing.
If you remember in that Chris Van Vliet interview, he had brought the Wrestling Figures podcast to WWE. They didn't really have any interest because that back in like 2008, 2009 or whatever it was, they didn't really know what to do with a podcast. It wasn't that huge.
No,
yet.
but after Z True Long Island story, they actually did try to take the Major Wrestling Figure podcast from them, and Matt Cardona said no. Because they already took away his other podcast before.
So him and Brian Myers did it by themselves, but they were still signed for years, even when doing the podcast. So
and then WWE tried acquiring it, and then they said, no, you're not taking this from us. And that's one reason why Matt Cardona didn't re-sign with WWE.
Big facts.
Stand
his ground, man. Always bet on yourself.
He got released from WWE. He got released from WWE.
Yep, but guess what he said? He said in interviews that his contract was going to be up that summer, and he did not re-sign. Brian Myers, on the other hand, his whole thing that happened with the release was a complete different thing. Brian Myers signed an extension. He, has a newborn around the time, and he wanted to stay in WWE, but then when they let him go, Matt Cardona was excited because he was already going to leave. But Brian Myers was actually like really upset and nervous because he has a family now.
Of course.
I got to bring this up, man, because I watched.
Trust me, I know my major players.
I watched their vlogs or whatever, and I watched a couple of them the other night.
I watch all their videos.
The vlog where Brian Myers, he was going to Florida for like an indie booking, whatever. That ended up getting canceled.
Hulk Hogan meet and greet.
It's weird that he was in line, and I think only 3 or 4 people fucking recognized him and knew who he was.
Oh, dude, they're all 80 fans at that place. They all were 80 fans with friggin' limited edition figures.
There, bro. There were young kids there, bro.
The kids, they wanted to meet Hulkamania.
It just amazes me that, Yeah, I was in WWE for fucking 16 years. Let me go fucking just, mingle with the fans and, get in line to fucking get an autograph. It's just weird to me, Because usually they're the ones that are signing the autographs. It's just weird to me. I enjoyed it, though.
But with the Forbidden Door thing, I feel like there's a lot of scenarios here because now WWE is working with New Japan, and we also saw Mickie James, with the Knockouts title at the Rumble last year.
That was the biggest.
Anything can happen. I just don't think it's going to be an AEW talent.
That was the biggest waste of fucking time because nothing really happened.
Yeah, but that was one of the biggest.
Still an iconic moment.
That was still one of the biggest, if not biggest, Forbidden Door entrants that we've got because she had the title with her.
Hardcore Country too,
that
right?
That broke every wall. Yep.
They did
Hardcore Country.
They did that because
she came as an Impact star, which is nuts. And
well, we know why.
So
we know why they did that
because the whole trash bag incident.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's why they did it. But still, WWE breaking that fourth wall, you barely see that happen. And I think even though Mickie James Rumble wasn't as good as people wanted it to be, it was still the moment is what people remember.
Am I the only one that thinks that the Royal Rumble, back in earlier this year, actually it was the biggest waste of fucking time? Because literally,
we knew who was winning.
Vince McMahon literally announced everybody that was in the match.
We knew everybody that was going to be in the
bullshit.
Rumble.
Which is why I'm so excited for this year's because Triple H isn't going to say shit. And I'm loving every fucking moment of it because we are going to get that authentic feeling back this year. And I hope you guys are ready.
I can't wait, man. We're only a couple weeks away, and then we'll be able to do our fucking
Royal
Rumble prediction.
3 of us
Danny,
will be
in
the
our
same
Facebook
shot.
chat, the We Are Wrestling chat, please do not send spoilers for potential Royal Rumble people. Do not. Because this year, I will not be paying attention to Rumble stuff on here during Rumble time.
100%.
Yeah,
I want to be surprised.
What are we gonna do when it comes time to do our prediction video, man?
we can have a predictions video and still freaking guess who's going to be a Rumble entrant and stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, if there's reports, okay, but please no spoilers. Like, if it says
There-
Matt Cardona's coming to the Rumble, do not send that in the fucking
Yeah.
chat.
I don't want to see any of it.
I don't want
wanna
to see any of that either. They're saying that because literally all throughout the day, I'll see wrestling articles and I'll just fucking send them in the group chat.
And I always see him before he sends them.
If you literally
75% of the time.
If you literally look at our group chat, it's just nothing but
The last
me
big moment that we've had that was mostly kept under wraps was Edge's return. That was the last big moment, Rumble-wise, that we've gotten. And
he tweeted earlier that day saying that that Beth was at work and he was home with the kiddos or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember it was a big deal because everybody was like,
You know how
and
fucking
then-
fast Red Eyes get to the
real
stadium.
quick, how do you feel about the reports that Edge will be fighting Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell at the Rumble?
"Oh my god,
Demon Balor, too.
I'm
Bro,
stoked. I'm stoked to see how they're gonna present it.
I said this
stoked.
on my SmackDown
Banger.
stream. I said this on my
Fucking
SmackDown
classic.
stream.
Calling it classic.
Instant classic.
Call me selfish, but I hope Edge doesn't retire anytime soon. Give him limited dates, whatever. Yeah, you know, obviously
I agree.
accommodate him. He's a legend. But bro, like, I want to see him against Bray Wyatt.
He's got a couple years left in the tank.
I want to see him
gonna-
again against John Cena. Like,
I
there's
think
so
he
many
might end
stories
his
of him.
career with Bray Wyatt. I think they're
There's
gonna end his
potential.
career with Bray Wyatt, but leave it open for like another match way
Bro,
down the line if he's able and wants to.
As creative as Edge and Bray Wyatt are, could you imagine them telling that story?
Oh my god. Because that's the only person that Bray Wyatt has not faced is Edge. And Edge has not faced Bray Wyatt, and you cannot rob fans of that moment because that would be an amazing person to retire Edge. That would be an amazing person, especially telling that final like swan song and make it dark.
I would love to see a match with Edge and Karrion Kross.
Could you imagine that years down the road, after this is all said and done, say that fucking Bray Wyatt obviously puts Edge to bed, and he wins Edge's final match.
Mm-hmm.
Years down the line, Edge reemerges and they fucking have a WrestleMania match. That would be fucking amazing. I would be all over this. So like I would love. That's my vote. That's my last opponent for Edge.
I feel like the reason why Edge has been off TV since he got attacked or whatever.
Match, bro.
I feel like he's growing his hair back out.
I don't
100%.
think.
I want him if he faces Bray Wyatt or has a feud with Bray Wyatt, I want him to bring back the Brood. The whole like demeanor, like him being like a fucking vampire, just like
I want him to
dark
come back.
character.
I want him to come back the same way he came back at fucking SummerSlam. I want to see him come back
Except
that
with
way.
the long hair, though. This time.
But like the same way that Brood, but also very like aggressive Edge.
Edge has had long hair for so long.
I'm digging the short hair on him. I'm digging
I
it.
liked the look that he had with Judgment Day, man.
Did you see his burst fade though that he came out with in fucking SummerSlam, bro? That shit was clean.
It was
shit
clean,
was
but
clean.
weird. I liked his haircut when he joined Judgment Day.
Bro, his haircut was fucking. He probably went to the barber shop and was like, "Yeah, give me a cut like Rhea Ripley." That's exactly what the fuck it was.
Yeah, give me a fat Rhea Ripley.
Damn.
I'll take a Rhea Ripley. Shit.
All right, I got a wild card for my pick for the Forbidden Door.
All right, bet. Let's go.
My wild card pick for the Forbidden Door, like if there's gonna be somebody that's going to enter this Rumble, I gotta go Will Ospreay. I feel like Will Ospreay could definitely be a surprise in this Rumble.
What if Jay White and Will Ospreay?
There's a couple spots.
I don't
see Jay White.
This is the only thing I'm gonna say. I
cool,
heard, no confirmation whatsoever. I heard that this Royal Rumble match might be a 40-man instead of a 30.
I'd be down.
Whoa, with all Triple H's returns? I definitely can see a 50-man Rumble.
The thing is, here's my take on it, okay? Not everybody.
Tony Khan's would be 60.
Will you let me fucking talk, you chud?
Go ahead, Dan.
Not everybody that's signed to WWE needs to be in the Rumble match. Have a couple surprise entrants, yeah.
60 man.
But everybody that's in the Rumble match, I need to believe like they can be a contender for the world title in the main event WrestleMania. That's my thing on it.
What's a chud?
We've been saying this for years, and you don't know what a chud is?
I got that from Ben. I don't know what it means. I think it means asshole. I'm just,
No, chud is it's a Clerks reference.
Oh.
It's what fucking Brian O'Halloran said. He's like, "What am I, some hideous fucking chud?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a Clerks reference. I'm gonna say something so out of pocket.
Okay.
And I don't care how unrealistic it sounds, but obviously the Rumble is notorious for one-offs as well.
He wants Mickey James's panties.
Oh, dude, why? No. I'm going to say Y2J. I'm going to say Y2J. That's my wild card pick. That is Y2J. Because at least not only will he be able to do a one-off.
I'd lose my shit.
Hold on. Not only would it be able to be a one-off, to not only be like, hey, the door's still open. This is just to see how we are right now because eventually my contract will run out. He is getting older. So, this might be a good, fucking toes in the water just to see where we're at if something were to happen one day. And I would be all over it because Y2J would be his gimmick he would go back to if he were back in WWE because that is the one that he has not done in so many fucking years. And that is one of his most well-known gimmicks.
I'm not even going to lie to you. There's one AEW guy that I could see being in this
Jericho
Rumble is Jericho.
So could you imagine, especially after fucking seeing him show up for Cena's 20th anniversary, that it makes even more sense for me. So if he showed up as Y2J, could you imagine hearing the break the walls? Yeah, fucking just everybody would erupt. And then seeing Chris Jericho slowly strut down to the ring, everybody in the ring would turn fucking heads, bro. And everybody would stop fighting for that 1 second because that isn't a fucking ex-AEW world champion. He is known as one of the faces of the company, and he is a WWF, WWE, WCW fucking renowned, established legend. Everybody would lose their shit, and it would make sense as a one-off.
Usually,
because that would be the. Because here's the thing: why would they announce, Forbidden Door entrant, and say nothing about it? Why would they announce it? Because that would be history making. Because at that point, there's something with AEW and WWE where, like, listen, it's not as serious as you think.
Here's the
that
thing.
would be fucking huge.
Like, for me, if I see this happening with Jericho, because usually in, like, the history, like, when wrestling companies do Forbidden Door things, there's always a deal for both sides.
Of course.
I remember, back in, I believe, 2012, TNA had Slammiversary. They wanted Christian Cage to, come out, cut a promo because he was a, legend in TNA.
Yeah.
But WWE, they wanted Ric Flair for the Hall of Fame for the Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
So Ric Flair was under contract with TNA. They worked a deal out. Ric Flair was able to do the WWE Hall of Fame thing. Christian was able to make a one-off.
Exactly.
So if this happened, I could see Jericho doing this Rumble thing one time, and I think that AEW will get one final match with Cody Rhodes.
I would love it.
What if?
I would love it. I would love it.
What if he came out
to perfect trade?
What if the entire JAS
Donnie,
made
you're
an
on
appearance?
fucking fire, bro. That just made me more excited for a fantasy booking.
I am on fire. I'm a cut.
What were you saying, Dan?
I was saying, what if the entire JAS made like an appearance somewhere?
I don't think so. I think it's just going to be like that fun, like what Ben was saying. Like it's going to be that fun one-off Y2J, break the walls down. It's going to be trending on Twitter and
breaking the
stuff.
fucking wall. Like Jericho makes an appearance in the Royal Rumble. Nuts.
Or
Nuts.
How about this? Now this is going to be even more wild. And it
All
ties
right. So
Cody
what's
gets one
your
final match.
wild card?
What if the clock strikes 0, right? All the lights in the arena go dark. You see somebody come out the tunnel, you're not quite sure who it is. It's a member of JAS. My take would be Sammy Guevara, somebody that's really close with Jericho. You see him, and then you just hear Jericho's break the walls down.
You see here, I don't see that happening because I don't think WWE is going to take an AEW original and put them on WWE because that's going to give AEW more exposure.
No.
They want Jericho because he's already a WWE legend.
Yep. And Jericho would make the most sense. That or Billy Gunn would make sense. to make up
They
for the
wouldn't
DX show.
They wouldn't
Here's
even
what I
let-
hope
they were gonna go to
happens.
the DX.
I hope X-Pac freaking comes in the Rumble, has a surprise appearance, and
Absolutely.
then that's his one-off, and then I can hear both of you say Donnie was right about the whole Xbox thing. So I really do hope X-Pac does come back for a one-off.
I think Xbox should get signed to an NXT contract. He can
I do
help
too.
out train people down there, but he can also, be on the actual
Oh,
show.
he
and-
definitely will be a trainer in WWE. I could see that.
For sure.
He's
At the
been on
Performance
NXT.
Center.
He's in phenomenal shape not to do something.
And he's going to do, and I said it in the X-Pac thing. He's going to do some NXT stuff here and there. Like, they did it before with Scotty 2 Hotty. They've done
Scotty
it
2
before
Hotty's
with
the
other
best, man.
guys as
Fucking
well.
love Scotty.
Scotty too
I'm just saying,
fucking ripped.
X-Pac will not be having one final, run. I don't think.
Who knows?
He will.
In
It's
WWE.
another
I think
conversation. I'm not opening this can of worms because it'll go for another hour. It'll go for another hour, and I know we'll open this can of worms.
All right,
another
we're leaving
time.
it at here, right? This is good?
I'm cool with it, man.
Unless
Let's
there's
go,
anything
man.
else with the Forbidden Door.
What
or the
was your
Rumble.
wild card pick, Dan? Like, if you had a wild card pick for Forbidden Door, who would you think would be that entrant? Because fucking this dude had his. I had Jericho. What's yours?
I have two.
Okay.
New Japan and AEW. New
Okay.
Japan, Switchblade Jay White, just because of all the ties that he
Okay.
has, with
I-
AJ and the
I
Good
can see
Brothers and Balor,
I could see it.
That's fair.
or John Moxley, or Brian Danielson.
I feel like it's too soon for Danielson, but Moxley would be a fucking a Twitter trender, 100%. Moxley, I can see more than
Imagine
Danielson.
Moxley comes
I
out,
don't-
bro. Imagine Moxley comes out, bro, and he has a stare down with fucking Rollins.
Or Rain. No, Rain.
Nah, because you see here, that's why I
Whoops.
don't see Mox,
Whoops.
because Reigns is not going to be in the Rumble. The only way I see them trying to get Mox at the Rumble for a one-off is if Roman and Seth are in the Rumble.
Yeah,
just to have that
that's the only time.
Shield stare down.
I feel
I
like
mean-
that's going to happen after Roman leaves for a while, and he's a surprise entrant, doing maybe a small run or, doing a one-off, and then all three of them are in the Rumble, and they reunite the Shield in the Rumble for a split second, because that's history making.
I could still see Moxley, having a stare down in the Rumble with Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
I feel,
hey, man,
I've
that's your wild
always,
card.
I always felt like Rollins.
Sorry to tell
and-
you, Danny. It's going to be Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins again going into Mania.
I
No,
hate
it's
it.
not.
I hate it.
If it is, I'm not. I'm
It
telling
needs
you
to
right
be
now.
Roman.
If it is,
Wait,
I'm-
let Danny say this.
if
I
it
want
is-
this on record.
If it is, I'm letting you know now. I'm not watching the show.
Can you say that one more time? I just want one more time, please.
If Cody Rhodes and Rollins continue this feud, even after Cody beat him 3 consecutive times, there's no need for it. I'm not watching WrestleMania.
Okay,
Okay,
so
I
if
will say-
WrestleMania, Cody versus Seth, you are not watching WrestleMania.
Nope.
Are you going to watch night one? You're not going to watch night 1 and 2.
Whatever night they're not on, whatever night they're on, I'm not watching.
Well, I hope it's on the one where The Rock fights Roman, because you're missing out on
See,
that.
here's the thing. I
The
can
Rock is not
see
facing Roman. The Rock's
not
facing
this
Roman.
WrestleMania, no.
I
But
hope
I
it's
will
at
say
40.
it would make sense more so for Cody to be facing Roman for the title at Mania because of his ties with Seth Rollins. Because that is promo work. Because at that point, he's going to bring up the 3 wins with his torn pec, and it was another member of the Shield. I don't know if Rhodes and
Unless-
Moxley... Hold on. I don't know if Rhodes and Moxley faced each other in fucking AEW, if he won it all. Because at that point, he's picking heads off the Shield, and then he's just down to Roman. And a world
Unless-
title, so you know how
un-
hard he's going to fight now.
Unless we have Roman, Rollins, and Cody Rhodes in a triple
She's
threat at
snoring.
WrestleMania.
Okay. What's up? What's
I'll-
up, Dan?
Cody, Rollins, and Reigns triple threat at WrestleMania. It's the only way I would agree to this whole thing. It doesn't make sense.
Meh.
Cody's already beat him, and before he left, his whole entire speech about wanting to win the one title that his dad never won.
Then he goes back to Seth Rollins.
The Rock is not gonna come back. That does not need a title match. He's gonna beat Reigns, and then he's gonna vacate the title the next night on fucking Raw. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, and then both titles are going to be vacated for the
Yeah,
draft,
no,
and
I'm
then they're
good.
going to do some tournament style
I'm good.
thing.
I'm
It's
good
such
with
a
that.
WWE
Stupid.
thing. It
It'd
is
be
stupid.
stupid.
I think it is
So
stupid, but that is
before-
such a WWE thing. Am I right or wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
But before we get into a very negative light, I think it was a good show, gents.
I think before we cut off, man. It's Christmas weekend. We gotta enjoy
This
this.
you're ruining my holiday spirit.
That's fine. I'm gonna.
No, he's
ruin
getting
it
into he's getting into something positive now.
I'm gonna ruin it even more. I would have Cody and Reigns face each other at WrestleMania. I would have Cody win. I would have him keep the WWE title and vacate the undisputed Universal title. That way, during the brand split when the draft happens, you can have a tournament for the Universal Championship and have Cody keep the WWE Championship because that's the actual title that he wants. That's the title that his dad never won.
But look, I thought a couple episodes ago we covered this already. I think we made the best road to WrestleMania thing.
I'm saying, and he's over here contradicting it for nothing.
Okay, here's how we're going to end the episode off, all right, before we get toxic and negative. I have the perfect way we're going to end it.
How
you can't help but to talk
Jay
about
is better than Jimmy.
You can't help.
No, here's how we're going to end it. It's the holiday season. One thing that you are grateful for.
One thing that I'm grateful for. Does it have to be wrestling related?
Doesn't have to be.
I'm gonna make it wrestling related this time because we're on a
we'll do wrestling
talk show.
related then.
Okay, so wrestling related. The one thing that I'm grateful for is that nothing lasts forever. So that includes Roman Reigns' title reign. And I don't fucking care how it happens at this point. Just drop the fucking titles. That is what I'm grateful for is long-term storytelling.
I'm grateful that Vince McMahon got the fuck out.
And I'm also grateful for Edge. I'm also grateful for Edge.
I'm so grateful that Triple H is running WWE now and Vince is gone. That's the biggest thing I am grateful for in 2022 when it comes to professional wrestling.
Growth and change and evolution.
Because it's been fun to be a wrestling fan this year from all sides.
You have to think, bro, like Triple H is re-signing a lot of guys. But the depth of the rosters, you're not getting the same matches week after week after week after week after week. You know what I mean? And even we're having Solo Sikoa come up on the, if Solo Sikoa came up from NXT, Vince hated NXT. He would have got fucking buried just like he wanted to bury fucking Gunther.
Very true. But guys, let us know in the comment section below.
Merry Christmas,
your
happy
thoughts
holidays.
On stuff. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show Christmas Eve edition, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Links down in the description below. You can go follow all of us on our social medias and other YouTube pages. All that down below. In addition, if you want to go support We Are Wrestling, you can go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where we're posting daily clips over there of us in the talk show. For people that don't want to, listen to us for an hour ramble about professional wrestling, we put minute clips on our social media pages, that down below. And we hope all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there have a blessed Christmas. You get what you want.
Happy holidays.
And we hope you guys, stay safe out there. And of course, you already know, we are taking over. Peace.